Since I talk a lot about protective documentation and all the information I try to keep out of the client's progress notes, I get a lot of questions about my personal psychotherapy notes. So today I thought I'd go through some examples of things that I might include in my personal psychotherapy notes rather than the client's progress note. Especially in the beginning of treatment, I'll often record names of important people like spouses or pets or best friends so that I can really work on keeping that information front of mind when I'm talking to my clients. Occasionally, I like to do personality tests like the VIA character strengths, or I'll have clients do this values sort activity. And so I like to put their specific answers and results into my personal notes rather than the progress notes so I still have access to it. Especially in the beginning of therapy, it's more likely that I'm doing a lot of history gathering, talking about the client's family, talking about important experiences that they've been through. And so I'm more likely to write down more detailed information about those things that they're sharing so that I can come back to it, especially if it's relevant to whatever their symptoms are. I might also put more specific information about a therapy homework assignment. So for example, if we're working on a cognitive reframe or a positive affirmation, in the note I'm probably just going to say client will practice cognitive reframe, but in my personal note I might put the actual wording that we're working on so that I can remember it. Progress notes are subject to retention laws, which means we have to keep them for a certain amount of time. In a lot of states, it's 7 years after termination. Personal psychotherapy notes are usually not subject to retention laws, and kind of clinical best practice is to keep them as long as they're clinically relevant and then destroy them in a HIPAA compliant way. So once I've been working with a client regularly for a while and I remember these things about them and I don't find myself referring back to the notes, then I dispose of the notes appropriately and they're no longer kept in the record.